Hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Jemma, and we have another full house this week. Joining me again are my two excellent friends. We have, I'm going to surprise, who's going to go first? Trev, you're first on my list. Welcome back, Trev.
Oh, I had an inkling I might be. I was
Yeah.
50% sure I'd be first. So, hey, glad to be here.
Hey, and welcome back, Kirk. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Top billing, second billing, I'm good.
Yes.
Well, usually the
Well,
stars they do at the end, they'll be like, and so and so.
Oh, and featuring, I'm the feature.
Yeah, special guest. Exactly. It has been a big week of gaming. It has been a huge week of gaming, actually. Lots of major releases for the Switch 2 in particular. We're going to go through some of those, and we're playing some of them also, which is great, as well as an anniversary, some new music, which I'm very interested to find out Kirk's opinion on, and upcoming games. We got a lot to discuss, so let's get to it. The big game of the week, though, the one that everyone is really talking about the most, and they're talking about a lot of these games, honestly, but I think this is the highlight, and that is Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong, which is a sequel to the original Hollow Knight, an indie game from 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe
Wow,
28. Yeah, maybe
long time
2018 on
ago.
the Switch. Yeah, long time ago. A lot of people have been waiting for this. I've seen a lot of people talking online about how excited they are to have it finally. Like it's this mythical beast kind of thing. I feel like it's like our Metroid kind of thing, Metroid Prime 4. And we've talked about the original Hollow Knight recently over the last couple of weeks on the show, and I've been playing that and loving it. Um, and I feel kind of bad in a way because I have just recently been enjoying Hollow Knight, and now 2 weeks later, I have Silksong. So, unlike a lot of other people who've had to wait 8 years, I
Yeah,
haven't.
you didn't like discovering a band 10 albums into their catalog. You're
Yes,
like, this is
yes.
great. When's their next? Oh,
That
9
is
albums coming out next week for me.
yes, exactly. That is a really good analogy. That's how I feel. So I feel kind of spoiled that I've had these two really good games in 2 short weeks, and I have been playing both of them. I did download Silksong just yesterday. It came out like it was the what was it, the 4th, and they even went to the trouble of releasing times for the game. It was a specific time all across different regions, so it wasn't like September the 4th. It wasn't like I could download it on the morning of September the 4th, which I tried to do. It wasn't available yet. Wasn't even in the eShop. It wasn't even listed. You couldn't pre-order it. It came out at 11 p.m. on the 4th for me in Australia because we're a bit ahead of some other parts of the world. So it would have been around, I don't know, 6 a.m. East Pacific time, I think, or something like that. So I just couldn't get it till the Friday, but that's okay. I have had some time with it.
Wasn't that the joke that the game like brought down the eShop,
Yeah. Yeah.
crashed Steam or whatever the
Exactly.
Xbox store is? I don't remember, but
They had, I think it was 535,000 consecutive players on Steam, which is, I think, a record from what I've seen online and crazy. And yes, I think the eShop broke at some point, and Steam definitely was struggling if it didn't go down entirely. um, Obviously, I didn't have any trouble because I got it the next day, and it was smooth sailing for me. One thing I love also is that there is a free Switch 2 upgrade, and what that means, I guess, is the Switch 1 version and Switch 2 version are the same price, essentially. And if you did download the Switch version and then bought a Switch 2 next month, you could just download the Switch 2 version for free, which is pretty cool. It looks lovely. So I have had some time with it, just a couple of hours, really. I'll probably talk about that now just because it is kind of the big game and it's not a huge amount of time so far spent with it, but it looks lovely. I don't know if you guys have seen any screenshots or anything, but it does look fantastic. It really does. Have you guys seen anything online about this yet?
a little
I've seen
bit.
the screenshots
Mm-hmm.
and watched some video. I agree with you that it looks lovely. One of the things I like best about it too is that a lot of games, when they use this kind of like depth on a 2D platform,
Mm.
they don't do a good job of distinguishing what you can interact with and what you can't. And although I haven't played this, so this is more a question for you, it looks like they've done a better job of defining the elements on your plane Mainly with just like darker outlines and such. Is that the case, or you do sometimes get confused between what you can jump to and what you cannot?
That is a really good question, actually. I think it's better than Hollow Knight in that sense. I've found myself not so much with the platforming, but in Hollow Knight, I would try to attack something that I thought I could break or attack, and it wouldn't. It was just like, oh, that's in the background. That could be a me problem. But there is that little bit of, fuzziness, I suppose, between the foreground and the background. I think this one does a better job. I think the distinction is more noticeable between what's in front of you. Like, what's it kind of, there's three levels, like the foreground, I guess, the playing field, like the middle ground, and then the background. And I think they're better defined. And in fact, there's a lot more going on. Like, there are kind of these like little lights, like lamps, and they have little fireflies in them or something. And some of them you can attack if they're in the middle, and then some of them in the background you can't reach because they're obviously behind you. And then there's things in the foreground that sort of fly in front of you, like little insects or something. It's really pretty. And yeah, I don't find myself trying to attack things as much that I can't attack. So I do think it's defined a little bit better defined graphically. Yeah, that's a really good question. And so, just for a bit of background, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are probably already playing it or interested in playing it by the sounds of it. I don't think I need to convince anybody, but it's not the same character as Hollow Knight. And I don't know if you guys were aware of that either, but the character in this game is Hornet, who does feature in the original Hollow Knight. She's part of the story. I won't give spoilers just in case anyone is not au fait with it or across it. But she plays slightly differently to the way Hollow Knight plays, which is nice. So it feels different, I suppose, is the point I'm trying to make. A lot of it feels familiar because it is a Metroidvania. It's a platforming experience. You're jumping, you're attacking, but Hornet has a slightly different move set to Hollow Knight. So there is something new to kind of come to terms with and learn. She strikes down diagonally, for example, whereas Hollow Knight, if you jump and strike down, he will just strike straight down. So that's quite a different approach. It seems like a simple thing, but it does change the way you attack and jump. So far, and the exploration for me so far is like the exploration is a key part of the game, and it's really fun. The map is sprawling, as you could imagine in these types of games, a lot like Metroid, really. And so far, there's just a lot. I feel like there's more to explore, like more little crevices and tunnels than at least the opening sequence of Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight definitely has heaps to explore, but I feel like they've done a good job of making, like, I just want, like, I'll come to an area and there'll be like 3 different pathways or 4 different pathways. Like, do I go left, right, up, left, up, right? Which way should I go first? Which is really exciting. And I've been doing the thing that I did with Hollow Knight where my son has downloaded it on Steam and he's playing it concurrently. He's playing it while I'm playing it on the Switch too. So I'm playing on the TV, he's playing on his laptop. We're collaborating. And this is a new thing. We haven't really done this before Hollow Knight, but now we're doing it with Silksong, and it's such a fun way to play because he'll go left and I'll go right, and I'll go right and find some treasure or something. Or like, oh, there's some treasure over here. Come get that. And he'll be like, oh yeah, the left is a dead end. Don't worry about that, or something. Or we'll find a boss and we'll go fight that together. And like, we're obviously not on the same screen. We're not co-oping, but it's just the motivation that we give each other when we're having a boss fight. Like, we did one last night and I struggled and I took a while to beat this boss, and he waited for me, which was really sweet. He just did his own thing while I was redoing this fight. And then later on there was another kind of mini boss that he was struggling with, so I kind of just waited for him and gave him some tips and things like that. So yeah, it's a really fun way to play. But yeah, it's a lovely game. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I will try to write up a review for this one and give my thoughts. Did you guys have any kind of questions or anything or comments about Silksong?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
We talked about how, none of us had, well, no longer you, but
Yeah.
we missed out on Hollow Knight. And I feel
Mhm.
like maybe on the Switch, maybe just because it arrived later or something, maybe a lot of Nintendo players didn't play it compared to like on the PC or Steam where,
Mhm.
it sold better. So for somebody like me who missed Hollow Knight, do I need to play Hollow Knight before I jump into Silksong, or can I
I
just pick up
mm,
Silksong?
I think you should be able to just pick up Silksong. The story seems quite separate, at least so far. There's no mention of Hollow Knight. I don't know how the two stories will integrate, if at all. I'm not even sure if it's a prequel, like about how Hornet got to where she was in Hollow Knight. I'm not 100% sure of that. So, but so far, she's on her own quest. She's kind of been captured by some insects and brought to this place. And another difference between the two is that Hollow Knight is you're kind of moving downwards, like you start at the top of the land and you're kind of going down through tunnels, further and further down, stretching left and right as well, but mostly down. In this one, her goal is more of a vertically up motion. So that's slightly different as well. But yeah, her quest is different. Her goal is different. She's meeting lots of people. She talks as well, and it's not fully voice acted, but she makes kind of different noises. But Hollow Knight, I think he's like a silent protagonist. I don't recall him, like when you interact with characters, they will talk to you kind of like Link, and he will listen. But she interacts with them like she answers them and speaks to them. So that's another slight difference there as well. But yeah, I don't think you need to have played Hollow Knight to enjoy this one so far.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, that's all right. Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder, and listeners, let us know if we know a lot of you did play Hollow Knight, but was it on the Switch or was it on a different console, PC, etc.? I was trying to help Hayden with my son with this boss that he couldn't do last night. And, he's using keyboard controls, which I found really hard. And I'm not necessarily a big PC gamer, but, using the WASD and using the mouse to attack, I much prefer the control, like the Switch 2 controller, to do these things. And so I wasn't very useful against this boss that I had beaten on the Switch. Couldn't do it. And only had sort of one go or two goes. But yeah, the controls are very interesting. You can get a controller for Steam, I suppose. So, but he seems fine. He's like, no, I prefer the PC controls. I'm like, not for me.
I guess if they're used to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's what you're used to, right? But I mean, I've been playing console games my whole life, basically. So I'm very used to a controller. And the Switch 2 controller is fantastic. So yeah. Anyway, anything else about Silksong?
So I would say it's too bad there's no demo for either game, but I
Yeah.
guess they don't need it. The game's quite popular.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah. And they're not very what was I about to say? Sorry. Like they're time consuming. I don't know how long they take to complete, but they'd be probably in the vicinity of 10 to 20 hours kind of thing, depending on also how much you do. Like you could speed run it and complete it pretty fast if you're a skilled gamer. Like it is tough. It is challenging. Not frustrating though, which I think is an important distinction. I don't find it frustrating. There's relatively good save points. You do lose your money when you die, which is a bit annoying, but you can go back to where you died and you can reclaim it. There's like a shadow version of yourself there waiting, and if you go back to that area and attack your shadow version of yourself, I guess kill it. You're kind of killing your spirit. I don't know how that works, but anyway, if you do attack it, you get your money back. So that's also there, which is nice. What else can I say? Yeah, it's not an expensive game either, I suppose, which also helps. I think is it 20 US, I believe, Silksong?
Yep.
Yeah. I think Hollow Knight was slightly cheaper than that even. So yeah, they're not expensive games. I've seen people say things like, it's a shame that everyone is loving this, but it feels like Metroid Dread, the classic Metroidvania style of Metroid. I hate calling Metroid a Metroidvania, but you know what I mean. The platformers, the 2D Metroids, don't seem to get as much airtime, I feel. Do you think people were talking about Metroid Dread as much as they're talking about Hollow Knight and Silksong?
I don't, but I think maybe we expect so much from Nintendo, corporation, and where this is from an indie team.
Yeah, true.
That I think that plays a factor in maybe the excitement, because we want to support the indies. I mean, during the Wii U era, it was really indies that was driving the machine. So I think, I think maybe that's why it's getting some chatter, and that's not a wrong reason either. I think we tend to. I mean, I grade on the curve to an extent. If I have a game from Nintendo, I'm a harsh critic sometimes because this is the big end.
Yeah.
They can do better. If it's an indie, I'm like, wow, I can overlook things or get more passionate about it. So
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And I think, yeah, this team, like I said with Hollow Knight, with Silksong, it's they've done such a good job. It's fluid, it looks brilliant, the music is lovely. And I know they said they didn't need to take us like they took their time with it. They didn't have delays like the Team Cherry. They took their time with it to make it the way they wanted to. They weren't in a hurry. And I think that's great. They've done a great job. And now I know that this is the game they wanted to release. And it's really wonderful. So yeah, definitely check it out if you're interested in Hollow Knight and you are curious about this sequel. I'd say go for it. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be interested to see if either of you ever pick it up. It doesn't go on sale very often, Hollow Knight, I don't think, on the Switch at least. Yeah, from my little reflection. But as I said, it's
depending on
so
how
exciting.
you score Silksong, I
Mhm.
might just go straight to that.
Yeah, okay. It'll be interesting because yeah, we gave Hollow Knight I think a 9. So yeah, and thankfully I have played both, so I can compare them. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to score, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anything else with Silksong before we move on to some other games that are out this week?
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay. Well, one of the other big titles that's been talked about a lot online is Star Wars Outlaws, which is out now as well. Came out the same day as Silksong. I haven't got it yet. I will be picking this one up because I have been talking about how interested I am in it. I just thought I would prioritize Silksong this week and maybe Star Wars next week. I don't want to miss out on it though because I have been talking about it the whole time and I'm excited that it's on the Switch too. I think this is a big kind of coup for the system, being such a relatively recent third party title and a big one. You guys would have heard the chatter that people were sort of saying it wasn't performing well. I think this was at Gamescom maybe prior to release, and now people are kind of saying it's actually fine and pretty good on Switch too. So I like that people have come around and started saying that. I hate that they were saying that before. I don't know what the deal was, whether there was a different version at Gamescom or people were just, I don't know, being negative, whatever. You guys might have an opinion on that. I don't know.
It could also be that there were just a few people who were negative and were going
Mhm.
to say something bad about it regardless. And then everybody who didn't play it just catches on to that and is like, see, told you, told you. But then when it actually gets out and everybody has access to it, you find out that
Mhm.
those few people who played it at Gamescom were probably not correct to begin
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I'd say so. So I'm really glad. I'm pleased to hear that it does perform well. I'm keen to try it myself. We know it is on a game key card, but the interesting fact about that is, and did Trev, was that you who found this piece of information? Did you want to talk about that? Or was it Kirk?
Oh, yeah, I just found it interesting that first of all that um, Ubisoft. I've heard it both ways. Um, I always said Ubisoft, but I feel like maybe it's Ubi.
Yeah, I
But
said Yubi as well. Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. So maybe a listener can leave a comment on how they say
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I was surprised they acknowledged the game key card issue, and they said it wasn't supposedly a factor of cost, but the fact that their in a particular engine, it was more about space. Like the Switch card couldn't hold it.
Hmm.
So, um, which if it's true, fair enough, and I give them kudos to for addressing it. But it'll be interesting to see moving forward. Does that mean that future releases from them that aren't restricted by space, are they going to be full physical releases, or are they just going to be digital? Like, yeah, it's the skeptic in me, I guess.
Hmm.
So I'm putting this in the back of my head so that the next time they have a release on Switch 2, I can be like, wait a minute, is this, is this a proper release, or is it just a game key card? And if it is, why? Is it
Yeah.
another engine issue, or is it space, or um but it was interesting. I was just browsing through. I think Nintendo Everything is where I saw it first.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't even remember the name of the engine.
Oh, Snowdrop?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it makes you think, well, and I guess this is the case that this game was already developed for other systems, and then they had to bring it to Switch 2, which was new for them, for the developers, and they've done their best to port it. When they make something in the future for Switch 2, like specifically, maybe they will not need to rely on game key cards because of whatever the engine relies on in terms of hardware. So,
Or maybe
yeah.
Nintendo will have larger cards by
Mm.
that point in time. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to get by with what's the max? It's 64
Mm.
gigs. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think they're going to be able to survive the whole generation on that because they're already
Yeah.
struggling size
Yeah.
wise here in the launch window. So, how long before they have something better or before it gets less expensive where they can afford to, have a bigger size and keep their profit margin?
Mm. And that's a good point. That's a good argument against digital, isn't it? For example, another big game coming out this week, or that just came out, sorry, on the 5th of September was NBA 2K. And that was
Mm,
68 or something gig? Something
that's
huge, right?
that's
It's just,
crazy.
that is crazy. And if that's not on a card, well, you have to download it. That's a lot of space. So,
You know
yeah.
what, guys? I'm going to interrupt real quickly
Yeah.
because the article that I saw on this took a different thing. They were saying that it wasn't the size of the cartridges, but the speed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was only 20 gig in size. Sorry, Trev. I didn't correct you, but I thought it was to do with the hardware or the.
Oh no, please do. If I'm like I said, I just skimmed it. I thought it was interesting. That's why I linked it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's more to do with, I think it's more to do with the technology they use. Is that right, Kirk?
Yeah, it was the SSD cards.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I have a quote here in front of us. Who is this
Oh, I
quote
see
from?
now. The way the article's worded, they talk about size, and then after that, the next paragraph says that's not actually the issue here. I don't know why they brought it up in the first place then, but
Mm.
um,
Yeah. Yeah, the quote, I'm sorry, the article that I have here doesn't say who stated this. Oh, wait, Banton. I want to, well, you know what, I'll say it and then I'll look back and see who actually provided the quote. It said Snowdrop relies heavily on disk streaming for its open world environments, and we found the Switch 2 card simply didn't give the performance we needed at the quality target we were going for.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it just can't get the information off the card fast enough without causing stuttering or load times, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, which is really interesting. That's why, yeah, I wonder if when they make something for the Switch 2 in the future and they are familiar with the hardware and they do know how to, optimize it and maybe put the
mm.
bulk of it on the card, but just whatever little bits they need onto the system that they can draw from more quickly. I don't know.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
key word, optimization, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, any hardware you look at releases that came out at the beginning versus those that came out at the end. The hardware hasn't changed, but through experience, you get better at optimization, or maybe there's new chips or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and let me
exactly.
attribute that quote real quickly too. It came from Rob Banton, who is the audio architect at Ubisoft for their Snowdrop engine, which explains in the beginning of the quote. He says Snowdrop. So there you go.
So
Yes.
you said Ubi, right? Ubisoft.
Uh, yeah, I wasn't going to weigh in because I don't know if I'm right, but yeah, I have always said Ubi. I've never said Ubi.
Wow. See, yeah,
Yeah.
it's 50-50. I've heard it, so I say both. Like, no consistency. I figure I'll
And you
be
know
right
what?
half the time.
A
Yeah.
few years ago, I went to that Ubisoft event for out in San Francisco for the what was it, Mario versus Rabbids game.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Oh,
And I could
Sparks,
have
I
asked.
hope.
I should have asked. I just didn't
Yeah.
know that was an issue that I
Yes.
needed to bring up.
Yeah. Does Google tell us? How do you pronounce Ubisoft? We'll look that up. Yes. Well, thank you for that. So let us know, listeners, if you're playing Star Wars Outlaws, what you think of it. Yeah, when I do get around to playing it, I will report back on my thoughts. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I know it's had middling reviews in terms of the game itself, not just the Switch 2 version, but just the game. Most people are generally positive, but I think, there's always outliers. And it's going to depend whether you like the characters and the story and the missions, etc., etc. So I have had no experience with this game. I've not played it anywhere else. It was at PAX last year on some other systems. I didn't get a chance to play it, unfortunately. Didn't know it was coming to the Switch 2. I mean, I didn't even know there was a Switch 2 at that time. So, yeah, definitely keen to try it though. So, yeah, I'll let you know. A couple other big games we'll just let you know that they're out because they are, which is NBA 2K that we just mentioned, as well as Cronos, The New Dawn, which is a horror title. So, yeah, there's a lot on this week, a lot of big games. Let us know which ones you're playing. I think it's almost too much, as in you can't play all the games, right? So
It's too much for our small crew.
yeah, exactly. We struggled to
So
keep up with
cue my
reviews.
weekly pitch for fans if you want to write for
Yeah,
us. I mean,
yes. Exactly. So yeah, let us know which ones you're playing. But let's move on to some more news. And I was super excited to hear that Fire Emblem Awakening tracks have been added to Nintendo Music. So the big question is, Kirk, was this enough to get you to download Nintendo Music?
No.
come on,
See,
man.
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I get the the commemorative editions, the big packages for the Fire Emblem games, and a lot of them come with the CDs of the soundtracks. And I download those soundtracks onto my computer, and I listened to them once, and I never listened to them again because it's just a bunch of 40-second loops. It's not a song. It's not anything. The one, like, I love the actual Fire Emblem theme when that kicks in. It's like when that appears in a Nintendo Direct, it's one of the few things that gives me chills because I know that like a new Fire Emblem game is coming. I absolutely love that piece of music. So I have like 4 or 5 different versions of that I will listen to occasionally, but otherwise it still loops. So until they give me something that I don't want to say it's got to be full pieces of music because we're never going to get that. They're just playing the music from the games, but it's got to be something really enticing to get me to do it. It'll happen. It'll happen.
It will happen. I don't know what it'll be, but when it
Yeah,
happens,
I don't either. I'm as excited to find out what it is you are.
yes. Did you give it a listen, Trev, at all?
I didn't. It's funny. I retweeted it on Blue Sky.
Mm-hmm.
I almost tagged Kirk. I was gonna be like, "Hey, is this gonna be it?" And
Yeah.
I haven't yet, but I will say with the music app on Nintendo, even if they're short, you can set it to loop.
Mm.
So if there is a song you like and say it's only a minute long, you can have it just loop indefinitely. So like if you're out like working in the yard or
Yeah, but then I'm
doing work.
turning it into like dubstep or house music where it's just the same thing for 8 minutes over and over. That's not why I
What's wrong
listen
with
to
house
it.
music?
Okay, I should specify. What do we usually say? It's not my thing.
Yeah. Fair
This is
enough.
not my type of song.
Uh,
Yeah. I think the extension facility is pretty good. I don't know how they do that because it doesn't feel too repetitive when I've tried it. I haven't tried it with this though. I did listen to some of these tracks while I was doing, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe writing a review or something. I put it on as background music. Not a Fire Emblem review though. That would be kind of nice. I would be interested to see if it would help write a review if you're playing the music from the
Oh,
game.
that's a good idea.
I've
Yeah.
done that before with other games, and for me at least, I think it does kind of help.
I
It
might do that
keeps
for
you in the mood.
Kirby. Yeah, because I'm doing a Kirby review at the moment for Forgotten Land, and there's tracks on Nintendo Music, so I will do that this weekend when I'm writing up my review. I'll put the soundtrack on and see if it helps, or report back.
You know what else I think too? When the songs do loop, I like it more if it's in like the chip tune style. Like if we're getting like an older Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem game, I'm more willing to listen to it over and over again if it's chip tune, and I don't know
Hmm.
why. I think it's because I don't expect it to go anywhere else. So when it doesn't, I'm cool with it. But I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that makes
Hmm.
sense. Interesting. Oh well, listeners, let us know if you've listened to Fire Emblem Awakening tracks, or what is your favorite soundtrack on Nintendo Music. Let's move on to an anniversary, which is Rayman, who apparently turned 30 this week. So 1995 was the first Rayman title, which I believe was on the Game Boy Advance, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not
There was a
super.
port on the Game Boy, but
Ah, okay.
it actually started. It was on a PS1, Atari Jaguar,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Saturn. followed up a few
Ah,
months
okay.
later. So there's early 32-bit and, well, 64-bit supposedly with the Jag.
Of course, the Game Boy Advance wasn't around in 1995, was it? What am I thinking?
Yeah, just Game Boy. But they did get a port. Actually, the Game Boy Advance, I have it. They
Oh,
have a
yeah.
10th anniversary port,
Oh,
which
cool.
now we're on the 30th, so shows you how old that is. And
Yeah.
that has Rayman and Rayman 3 on it. So
They skipped Rayman 2 for some
yeah,
reason?
well, Rayman 2 was pretty. That was on 64 and
Right.
Dreamcast and others, and 3DS. Actually, I've got it as an old port. That was a little more. It wasn't a 2D side scroller. It
Mm,
was kind of a 3D, which was the popular style back then because of like Mario 64, Banjo,
mhm.
Kazooie, Kicks, those different ones.
Yeah, I have very little experience with Rayman, and I don't know why. I couldn't even tell you. I don't think I'd even heard of Rayman until he was on the Wii U. Wasn't he like this big launch title? Was it Rayman Legends or something? Was it that one?
Yeah, that was the Wii U one.
Yeah.
You didn't play Origins on the original Wii?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, see, that was that was the newer style of Rayman. Um, and then Legends was kind of built off that. But yeah, it was a great game. Had four. You could do like 4-player, like
Mhm.
sort of like New Super Mario Brothers. On the Wii,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, thinking about it, I got a lot of Rayman games in
Well,
my
apparently
collection, and I
yeah.
feel like he's gotten shortchanged more in recent years because now you hear about the Rabbids.
Yeah,
It's all about the
they've
Rabbids, but what about
mm.
Rayman?
What was his deal? Did he round up the rabbits? Is that how that started?
The Rabbids, like, it was like a spin-off
Mhm.
of Rayman. They were like they weren't like mainline games, but of course now they're their own series. They're getting their own like
They even have
spin-offs.
an arcade game or 2. I've seen them at the arcades. There's
For
rabbits.
Rabbids?
Yeah, it's like a
Oh man.
what is it? It's a platformer where you roll a die and whatever number you get, your little rabbit moves forward and there's traps or springs that move you forward. It's kind of a board game style, I suppose, and you get tickets or whatever. If you get to the end, you get points. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mm. Yeah, the kids seem to like it. We played it last year, I guess. Yeah.
So what are they doing for the 30th other than like some like in-game little promo there? I can't remember what it was.
Mm.
Like, where's the new Rayman game?
That's a really good question, and I don't know the answer because they say they're going to be celebrating it over a period of time, from what I've seen. And I think there was an interview with one of the was he the composer, maybe some sort of music dude, and someone else from Ubisoft. I'm going to say Ubisoft now. I feel like I don't know. But they're the ones who make Rayman, right? Ubisoft.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was something I saw on socials where they're going to be doing some sort of celebration, but it seems like it's ongoing. And I don't know, they didn't mention new games, but it would seem like the perfect time. What is it with Rayman though? Like you said, the Rabbids have got their own franchise really, and they seem to be the popular ones. But Rayman, it seems to be a long time between his games. Like there's a few in the 90s, like Rayman 1, 2, and 3. Is there a 4? I don't think. I think it went 1, 2, 3, and then there's a big gap, and then they had Origins. Is that how it went?
I think so. There were like some handheld only
Mhm.
Rayman games, and
Right.
like they were spin like I have a game on the GameCube, Rayman Arena, which
Oh.
isn't a mainline entry, but it's still fun
Mhm.
in its own right. Um, yeah, I feel like, but you're right. There's not that steady stream of Rayman love.
Mm. Yeah, because 'cause I'm looking at Wikipedia and it says there's 45 games in total, and that includes the spin-offs, obviously, and I
What? Oh,
probably
I
the
guess I don't have that many.
yeah, well, I think that must be, like, all the Rabbids games, all the spin-offs, like the arena ones, maybe all the system ones, like, maybe, like, the Game Boy Advance version of Rayman 1, for example, even though
Oh,
it's the
I
same
got you.
game.
Yeah.
I think that's what they mean because I saw that, I'm like, "Are you sure there's 45?" I mean, talking to
I hope
Wikipedia.
that's what they mean.
Yeah. I'm like, "Are you sure, Wikipedia? I don't think that's right," but
Yeah.
anyway.
Kirk knows Rayman too.
Oh, yeah? What's your sort of, I don't know,
It's
thoughts?
much more limited than you guys. I played Origins. I remember playing that with my family. That was one of the first games we played where we were all playing it together. And I'm saying all of us except Max. I don't even know if Max was born yet. If he was too young to play.
Hmm.
And my kids
Wow, is
just
it that
joined.
old? Oh man,
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah,
ah,
twenty.
that's crazy.
Was it 2013? When was that?
No, that was
Oh,
the
oh, that
original Wii. It
was.
would have been like 2010,
Oh, yeah, it would
maybe.
be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. That's
Well,
cool.
it taught my children to go at each other's throats when we played video games. 'Cause
Yeah.
Sam always just wanted to push through as fast as he could, and Sophie wanted to collect everything. And with a game that was moving at that speed, someone was always getting pushed off the screen.
That sounds like
That's
us
my
with Mario.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Harrison was always in a hurry, and I'm like, "Come on, we got to like check up here. There's a secret thing." Yeah, that's funny. That's super funny. Cool.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. So we all have our Rayman memories. Anything else you wanted to discuss about this anniversary before we move on?
I'd love to see a collection of these games. You got to get Digital Eclipse to tackle
Mm,
the Rayman games
yeah.
and do those interactive timelines. Like these games are kind of big, so um, that approach might not work. But I think part of the reason it's not as well known, like if you're a Nintendo fan, the original Rayman didn't arrive till like GBA, or I think there was a Game Boy Color version. But that
Mm.
was locked on like PS1 or Atari Jaguar. I mean, who was playing that?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So I feel like it was sort of left to die, even with the sequel, which was on 64. It was better on the Dreamcast. I feel like that's what I remember back in the day, people talking about. So
Mm.
it's got to get the Nintendo love. Origins is on Wii and 3DS, and Legends goes on sale a lot on the Switch. So I would say if anyone's interested, wish list that and
Hmm.
just wait for it to get a deep discount. Um, Even physically, I found it cheap,
Yeah. Okay.
but you'll get your money's worth, and it's a lot of fun. Like Kirk was saying, in multiplayer, Origins and Legends both have that kind of chaotic feeling. I will warn you, if you have little kids, Origins, the fairies are pretty busty, and when you beat a level, they're kind of bouncing out. So I remember I was playing with some young friends at the time, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm like, guys, look at the floor. But it's like an E10 rated game, so it's not
Yeah.
anything graphic. I remember it being jarring.
Yeah, fair enough. Looks like Legends is actually on sale, at least in Australia at the moment. It's 80% off on the Switch.
Ooh,
And that's
Gemma,
the
I know you got
definitive
a ton of games already, but
version. I do, yes. And it is compatible with Switch too. And I remember Legends and probably Origins looking really nice, like graphically. Yeah.
Legends was an early cover of Pure Nintendo magazine
Yeah, that's right.
back in the. I might not have even been with the crew, or if I was very very new. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, listeners, let us know your favorite Rayman title or your experience with Rayman. Are you a fan? Do you want some new content? I'm sure fans, if they're listening, would love some new content, obviously. So, what's next for Rayman? Who knows? Hopefully, we'll find out in the next month or so as they celebrate this anniversary. Let's move on to game release news of the week. Kirk's new section.
And
What
I've got a section.
Yay! So we're gonna look ahead to something coming up for the Switch or Switch 2. What should we be looking out for?
This one is an announcement. I just got was it yesterday? Was it today? Fairly recently.
Mhm.
And it's for a game that's already on the Switch. So normally I would skip over it, except that it's a game I really enjoy called Puzzle Quest. This time it's the Immortal Edition.
Cool.
It's a match 3 kind of game. It's a match 3 RPG. It was originally released for the DS and the PSP back in 2007. Um, and I don't know if I mentioned this before. I have really fond memories of that because when it was my turn to go upstairs and stay in the kids' rooms as they were falling asleep in the crib, I would keep myself entertained by playing this game on the DS.
Nice.
So my kids' first exposure to music and odd lighting on their father's face was being cast on my DS as I was playing Puzzle Quest as they went to bed. But I reviewed it when it came out. It was Puzzle Quest: The Legend Returns was released for the Switch. I gave it, let me scroll down. Oh, an 8.5 out of 10 in 2019. Now it's coming out again, this time in the Immortal Edition, with some new features, including, and I find this comical because it says 4K artwork on supported platforms, but it doesn't list Switch 2 as a supported platform, only the Switch. So I don't know if we're getting the 4K artwork, but I think that's only for like the character illustrations anyway, not the gameplay from the way I'm reading this.
Yeah.
It includes a new character class, which if you played the game, you can go in as different characters that have different abilities. That's the RPG element of the match 3. 40 plus new items. I don't know what those are, but you could get like weapons and shields and stuff that, I don't want to go into too much detail, so I won't tell you what they're for, but they're useful. And then it says 3 previously released expansions, including or that add new quests. So there is a story mode that you're going through and going into these battles against various beasts and enemies that have different skills and force you to change your strategy on how you're attacking or powering up or preventing your enemy from attacking, all by matching your gems.
Cool. Yeah, it looks really fun. I'm trying to think if I've played one of these before, maybe on the DS. I don't know. It looks really familiar. But
I
also
got a
looks fun.
question, Kirk,
Yep.
because my mom, basically the only type of video games my mom will play nowadays are like match 3 type games, puzzle games. Is this something that she'd be into? Because I'm wondering, when you say that RPG elements, that might be like, is that maybe like, how deep is that? Like, could she just enjoy the match 3 part and kind of gloss over that, or what do you think?
Well, she maybe could, except there are some story elements where you're just reading and getting the story. Some of the battles get pretty tough. Because of course there are billions, and I'm not even exaggerating. There are 7 or 8 billion match 3 games available on the
What?
system.
Are you serious? Billions. What?
Well, let's say yeah. Let's say I'm right.
Okay.
And like you can get them where you're getting things to decorate houses and stuff. I mean, like the match 3 is just a portion of, well, what do you like to do? Do you want to have like a farming sim? Do you want to have a little boutique that you're trying to sell stuff? So if she's not into RPGs and Dungeons and Dragons style storytelling, I would probably say there are better matches out there for you.
Okay.
But it is a really good game, and once you get into the strategies of deciding what colors to match up, like you may have skills where you got to get your red levels and your greens to a certain height, but if you do that, you also risk pushing your opponents because you're always battling against somebody. Pushing your opponents up so then they can use special attacks against you. There's an awful lot to think about. And of course, then you're also stuck with the randomness of how the pieces fall and are you matching the right thing? It may have been better to match something on the other side. So there's a lot to think about. And then you make mistakes and you end up losing the fight and have to do it again. So it can get frustrating if you're not used to that kind of gameplay.
Sounds like it's
All
a lot.
right.
Yeah, a lot to it.
Yeah, well, and that's why I liked it because it was a bit more involved than just matching colors, for no reason other than to clear the screen.
Yeah. So maybe not for your mum, Trev.
Yeah, she's all about any game that's got like story. She's always trying to skip it. So
It could, though, get her into a new hobby. She may be
True.
playing this, and then 3 months down the road, she's got a D&D group that are meeting in the park on Tuesday nights.
Yes, exactly. I love that for her.
you guys.
No, that sounds really good. So when's this one out, Kirk? Pretty soon.
This one is, yes, it's coming out September 18th.
Nice. A couple of weeks. Not too far away.
Yep. And only $14.99. So,
Yeah.
even if you have played it before, it's not a huge price to hop back in.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. I'm sure you'll be hopping back in. Not sure if we'll be reviewing it or not, but if we are, I assume that will be you. So
Yeah, maybe.
hopefully.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your game of, what do we call this segment? Upcoming game of the week.
We'll put that up for debate, or maybe our listeners can suggest something. Give us a title.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the games that we're playing. And I will go first. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking on games that we're playing this week because I've already talked about Hollow Knight and Silksong. And the other game that I've been playing is Kirby, which I talked about last week. But I just want to touch on it quickly before you guys get a chance to talk about your games. There's a few new ones in the list. But Kirby's going really well. I'm loving it. And I have to correct, because last week I was only on World 1, and I didn't really know how the integration worked with Starcross World. And once you finish World 1, and I was really close last week to this. If only I'd played one more level, it becomes apparent how it integrates. So as soon as you finish World 1, there's a crash, a meteor crash, and the whole Starcross thing happens. So basically every level, not every level, so say there's 6 levels in World 1, I think, 5 or 6 levels. Some of these levels have alternate versions, which are the Starcrossed World versions of these levels. You are going back into the same level again, but it's different. So this is where you have, there's kind of these crystals everywhere from this meteorite crash, whatever it is. Is it an asteroid or a meteorite? Whichever one hits the Earth. I don't know. One's in the air and one is on the ground. I don't know. I can't remember. Whatever it is. So the levels have changed and the crystals make them change. So they're kind of reformatted or remixed, if you want to put it that way. I think they're different enough to be fun. And so this is where the question last week, Trevor, about whether it's worth the $20 for this DLC or not. And because it's all new for me. But what I'm doing, which is kind of good as a reviewer, is I have just played these levels for the first time, as in the original Forgotten World levels. And then I'm almost immediately playing them again as the Starcross World. So they're very new for me, and I'm still enjoying them. Whereas someone like you, Trev, who played them 3 years ago, they would feel extremely fresh because you haven't played them for 3 years. So I think it's good. Obviously, there's like I said, sorry, not obviously. I hate saying. I don't know why I say obvious. It's not obvious. There's not every level has a Starcrossed version of it, so it's not like a complete. So I don't know how many levels are in the Forgotten Land. You know, there might be 40, 50. I don't know how many there are.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Forgotten Land. Forgot.
Yes.
Huh?
There aren't the equivalent number of levels, Starcross versions of those levels. For example, in World 1, there are only 2 out of the 5 or whatever it is. So you're not getting, it's not 100% of a new game. It's like 20% or whatever, right? 40%, something.
That's why it's $20 for the
Exactly.
DLC, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But they are not just remixed. They also have, like we talked about, new abilities, especially those, whatever they call it, where Kirby swallows the giant things, like the car or the cone. There are new things that he does there, like the spring, I think is the spring a new one? I can't remember now, sorry. There's so many abilities. And because it's all new for me, they're all new. But yeah, there are new abilities. And there's new like Kirby abilities as well, not just the big things he swallows like the cars, but the normal, I don't know, how do you define between the giant abilities and the normal abilities? And Trev, this might already have been in the game, but you can level up your regular abilities like the sword and the fireballs. Was that part of the original? Do you remember? I assume it was.
Gee, I'm trying to remember.
You
Man, it
find
wasn't even that long ago. Like
I know.
3 years doesn't sound that long,
No, but
but
think about how many games you've played since then. Like 100,
that's
right?
true.
Like a lot,
That's true.
probably. So anyway, you can level up your abilities, which, as I said, I assume is part of the original game, but it's still a cool feature because you find these little, what are they? Like maps or templates or something. You take them to the Waddle Dee land shop and the dude there, like the little blacksmith, hammers them out for you and you can upgrade them. So what I'm saying is there's a lot more to the game than just the levels. I think there's also a mini game where you're running a cafe, which is pretty fun. Again, I don't know if that was in the original, but that's pretty hectic where you have to serve Waddle Dees as fast as you can and get your high score.
I think
So
this sounds familiar.
yeah, I'm gonna guess that was there because I feel like that town was there. This little Waddle Dee
I'm gonna have to replay the game. That's
yes. But essentially, there's a lot to do and it's a lot of fun. And I will write up my full review and post it soon as I can, so everyone will know my full thoughts. But yes, just to say that I'm loving it, and I hope everyone else is enjoying it who's into Kirby. But we have a lot of other games to talk about, so let's move on to Kirk. What are you playing this week?
Well, this game I'm not playing because I finished it. In fact, the review just went up on Friday, but I want to
Yeah.
make sure I call attention to it. It's a
Okay.
game I mentioned before, Demon X Machina, and I did look it up, and even though it's spelled Daemon, I believe it's still pronounced demon.
Okay.
Learned something new. I had to look up all these words: demon, machina, scion, just to make sure.
Makes sense. Kirk's reviewing it, if that's how you say it.
Yes.
Probably true. Um, this is a good game. I should say, yeah, we'll say good. It's not great. Without going into too much detail, I like if you played Xenoblade Chronicles X and you really liked the mech part, decking out your what do they call them? Skells, I think.
Oh yeah,
Um,
something like that. Yeah.
decking
Yeah,
out
that
your
sounds right.
skulls, customizing it, putting different weapons on, swapping between it, building on. This game revels in that. It's pretty much just that, taken blown way out of proportion. Um, there is a story. It's kind of perfunctory. It's not really going to hook anybody, I don't think. Um, and there is a lot of exploration, but unlike in Xenoblade Chronicles, the world is much more realistic. That's good. It's bad in that it's not as fantastic to look at. There aren't those like big wow moments that you get from the designs and
Mm.
something like that. This one's based more in I don't want to say hard sci-fi because it's not based in any kind of like future reality or what could happen, but it takes a more serious approach to it. It takes its technology a little more seriously. The combat is really fun. The exploration is really fun. But because of the sameness throughout and the lack of a really good story and just the general loop of getting a mission, exploring out, going as far as you can, getting a warp point, and then going back and recovering and upgrading your armor, it kind of starts to feel the same after a while. And so, for that reason only, I gave it a 7 out of 10. But if you're into mech combat games, it's one of the prettiest and most involved you're going to get. It is only available on the Switch too.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Damon X Machina Titanic Scion. I said it. I did.
Demon X
Oh my
Machina.
gosh, I said it wrong. Demon. You just said that, didn't you? Oh, jeez.
Well,
Yeah.
see,
Wait,
yeah, it
this
took me
is only
years.
Switch 2?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for
Am I
some
wrong?
reason I thought. Oh, you know what? I had misread when I read your review when you talked about performance. Um, you said like lagging behind its contemporaries, like other games of this style. For some reason, I thought it just meant like other versions of this game. It's my own
Yeah.
fault
Okay. Yeah,
misreading
and
it.
I suppose I should point that out too, since you mentioned it. It does, even on the Switch too. This one suffers some stuttering and frame rate issues. Not anything that kills the experience, but um, they said I'm glad it's here. This would never have come to the Switch, so the Switch
Mm.
2 brings us this game, but probably still doesn't provide the best experience.
It's a pretty big game. Like, it's expensive, but there is a demo for this as well. And I believe
Yes.
physical as well. Probably a game key card, but you can get it physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's
But
a
check
big,
my
big
review. A
release.
lot more detail in there on everything. So if I sounded like I was talking in circles, it makes more sense in print.
Just a quick question. Did you try online?
Um, During my review period, I wasn't able to get anybody to play with. There is,
Ah.
and thank you for bringing that up too. See, I tried to get through this fast.
Sorry. I just thought you can play 1 to 3 players online, and I think I remember you
Yes, and
saying
it's
that.
story mode. So you could
Right.
play the whole thing by yourself, and then you've got AI controlling the other two people, and it does a good job. Like
Mhm.
I didn't miss not having any, but yeah, if you are playing with friends, you can go online and play through the whole story with two other people playing the different I don't want to say robots. They're called arsenals, and there are people inside of them, more like
They're real
mechs.
people with real feelings.
They're real
Yeah.
people with real metal.
Cool. Thank you, Kirk. Love to hear if any listeners are playing Demon X Machina. Trev, what is on your plate this week?
All right. So the first game I got is Wild Hearts S,
Mm-hmm.
all caps, but I probably won't rate it that way because I don't know why people do that. That seems to be a trend in recent years.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I've
they're
noticed
screaming the title at us. But
that.
this is actually a little bit of an older game. Came out at the end of July, and it sat in our queue for too long, so um, Kirk impressed me into service to take on this game.
Yeah, sorry,
And
Trev. I was
Yeah.
meant to take that one. I'm sorry.
I get you got enough games. Get Kirby and Silksong out of the way. And oh, geez, are you still playing Chibi Robo, Gemma?
Chibi Robo. I haven't had time for Chibi Robo.
So you got to
Yeah,
get back to that too.
I do.
Anyway,
I do.
um, yeah, I took this game basically to clear out of the queue. Didn't really think I'd be enamored with it because looking at it, it looked like Monster Hunter, and not Monster Hunter stories, like a Monster Hunter game, which, for lack of a better phrase, isn't really my thing. But Wild Hearts S is actually pretty good.
Cool.
I'm impressed. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
I have not figured out how to get two player. Um, so I don't know if, because it does say local and online, but
Mm.
yeah, I got to dig into that more and see if maybe it's. I hope it's not limited to like where you need two systems in two games or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
even with that, Jen and I have been taking turns. She does some of the like collecting of materials and then crafting items. You know, that's sort of a thing we see in games lately, right? And some of the exploring, and then when it gets to the combat, I've been taking that on, and I guess I would say what stands out to me with Wild Hearts, as opposed to say Monster Hunter, or this game's got a bit of Xenoblade, a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom. It sort of feels like a mix
Mm-hmm.
of games, but it's the fights seem very like cinematic. Like it's not you encounter a beast and then you fight them till they die or you die. Like you fight the beast and then after a while he runs off. Then you got to chase him across the map, and then
Mm.
you're in a new area, and it's like, oh, okay, now I can't take him. I'm always trying to search for the high ground, and there's no high ground here because they just wiped out, this cliffside because they're so huge, and it's like now I got to run and I got to dodge, and it's very involved and very satisfying when you finally do it because you really feel like you've earned it. Um, so I
Cool.
like that. I'm only a few hours in, and now we're in town, and just kind of appreciating the scope of how big this game is. I mean, this is a full price game,
Mm.
but yeah, for having not many expectations for it, I like it. Even Jen likes it, and she likes this type of game even less than me. But all its different elements seem to be balancing in such a way where we can enjoy it.
Nice. Well, that's really good, Trev. I'm glad that you took it then because I played the demo and I couldn't really gel with it for some reason. And maybe it's just because it's just the demo. And I think it looked nice though. And my first battle was really hard. So,
It
yeah.
definitely makes you think. I couldn't just go in and button mash.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
uh, but,
died
but
in the
yeah, I
first
like
battle.
that though. I'd rather have less fights that maybe get more thought than a bunch of just button mashing fights. So
Mm. Oh, that's really good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Looking forward to
yeah,
your full review. This is, yeah, Switch 2 title. So, yeah, I think, and like you said, it was an older game that was on other systems a couple of years ago, I think, and this is the Switch 2 version that they've released. Yeah. Don't know if it's a full on series or not.
I'm
Or if
not even sure what the title means, Wild Hearts, but
Hmm.
it sounds like it should be like a visual novel or like a romantic thing.
Yes.
But
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Thanks, Trev. Let's move on to Kirk again, who's playing Madden NFL 26. I'm pretty keen to hear your thoughts on this one. How's it going?
Well, thankfully, I've had some help on this one too. In fact, I'll try to be brief on this one also, since we're getting close. But my approach to this game has been, I'm of course an NFL fan. I'm a football fan.
Hmm.
There hasn't been a Madden game since 2013 available for Nintendo system. So, like when I'm reviewing it, I'm basically reviewing this as a newbie. It's a weird game to review because they make them every year, and every year there are new features in it, and the game is built assuming that you're a fan who's been playing this forever.
Mm.
And I'm coming in fresh. I haven't touched one of these since 13 on the Wii U.
Yeah, right.
So it takes a lot to get used to it. It takes a lot to get into it. and I to clarify, it takes a lot to get good at it. The game doesn't really like have a, oh, you're new to this, then let's start you off easy. They say, oh, you're new to this, here's some practice modes, here's some training, here's like a 2-minute drill mini game, training camp options, but you can't just really get right in and start playing it immediately with your friends, by yourself. You kind of have to figure it out. So
Mm.
it takes a while to do it. But boy, it looks great. I mean, probably better on other systems. I don't care, as I'm reviewing it, who cares about how it performs versus on the PlayStation or Xbox?
Mm.
Is this, a game worth playing on the Switch too? I would say it is. I think fans who have been waiting a long time for this to come back are going to be pleased with it. I haven't yet found that there's a feature that allows you to spit on the opposing quarterback and get ejected from the game in the first game of the season.
Is that a
And I
thing?
wish there was. Oh yeah, well that the NFL season started on Thursday, and one of the players got kicked out of the game before the first play because he
Right.
spit on the opposing quarterback.
Okay.
Which I would do if that was in there, and I could spit on Aaron Rodgers or Harrison Butker or somebody, and then just get ejected. I would do it, call it a win, and shut it off. But it's not there.
Not there. Dang.
Despite the quote, it's, oh, you know what, spits in the game. That's what he got to start going with. Their
Oh
motto
my
on this:
gosh, that's good.
spits in the game.
Oh man.
So do you choose the Seattle? No, is it the Seahawks?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
well, yeah, of course. Yeah, you're going to see in my review there are a lot of Seahawks screen captures that you won't get from any other reviewer out there for the most part.
Nice.
But yeah, you can pick your team, but you also there are coaching modes where you're kind of like choosing a coach and then drafting your own team. You can start out as a player who's not on a team and eventually work your way through. So it's kind of like a sandbox for NFL fans. If once you know the game's basics and you're able to get into it and learn all these new features, you could just start playing with the NFL the way you've always wanted to. And I think that's the big appeal to this. And that's why, people are going to buy it year after year after year, is because you get to live that dream that's part of it. If you're not in, if you're more of an arcadey sports kind of fan, there's really not anything in here for you. And that's fine. That's not what this game's trying to be. And, we've had arcadey sports available in other games, and now we're getting the behemoth of them all. And it's out there, and, it's about time.
Nice. Well, that sounds really positive. Thank you, Kirk. Can't wait to hear your full thoughts and if the Seahawks win this season. in virtual and reality.
Something else my son pointed out to me is the last time a Switch game or a Madden game was released on the Switch was 2013. It was 2012 season. The Super Bowl was 2013 that year, and the Seahawks won.
There you go.
Now it's come back to the Switch, come back to the
Ah.
Nintendo devices. So
Yeah.
if history's going to repeat itself, then yes, the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl this year.
I think that sounds like a pretty solid fact to me, honestly. You've heard it here first. The Seahawks are tipped to win the Super Bowl.
Based on the Wii U game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Oh man.
A terrible port, but okay.
Can you bring Tom Brady out of retirement in this version?
That's not something I would do, so I don't know. Let's say yes. I believe you do get access to what we'll call them legacy players.
Nice.
Cool. So can you make anyone play for any team?
Yeah.
So you can make Joe Montana play for the Seahawks.
Yep. If he's available.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to do that though.
Probably not. No, but you could.
You should be able to bring them back at the age they are now and have like an old timers league. Yeah. That would be more my speed. Like I think it would be better if I could control Joe Montana in his 60s.
Yes.
But then that's tricky because you got someone like Aaron Rodgers who's technically still playing, but he'd be in old timers league. So
that is true.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'd get
ejected
for any fans sitting on him. So.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm glad it looks and runs well in the Switch 2. That's what we wanted. So that's what fans wanted, and that's what they've got, which is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
curiously, the only performance issues I've faced are more in the menu screens than they are in the actual game elements. So,
Do they do
That's
something?
so weird.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do they do something fancy where the menus, like, I don't know, pop out, like they're dynamic menus? They're not just static. Is it that?
They're dynamic, but they're thankfully not as dynamic as I would have expected. They didn't really go too overboard on the animations and the
Mm,
style of
hmm.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? They haven't optimized the menu animations of all things.
Usually in games, that's the only thing that's some games are like, well, the menus run at 60 frames, but the
Yeah.
rest of the game is 30.
I mean, it's better this way than the game performing
Uh,
poorly, and the menus work. So yeah, I guess that's a win. Hopefully next year, if it comes back to Switch 2, if this one does well enough and they do a 27, then
Yeah, it would be nice to see this become an annual thing on Nintendo devices as well.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hope the sales are sort of helping along with that, but we'll see over time. Thank you, Kirk. We've got one more game to talk about from Trev. What is
mm.
happening with this collection?
Thanks for leaving me time here, but no, I'm just yeah, I'm playing. I say I'm playing. I actually downloaded this just before uh, we started recording.
Oh, okay.
So I've literally just looked at the menu, which I can say runs smoothly.
Yeah, nice.
But it's a game I talked about on the show a while back when they announced it, and that's Bubsy in the Perfect collection.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, get it? Because he's a
Yeah.
cat. So,
Yes.
or Bobcat, I guess.
Do
And
bobcats purr?
I don't know. I've never gotten close enough to find
I'm
out.
just
I
saying,
think
if
they
we're going to
howl.
use overused puns, I at least want them to be accurate. So now I got to
Mhm.
look this up.
I have seen bobcats. There are some around here, but
Well, Google says yes, so
All
oh,
right.
well, there you
apparently.
go.
All right.
So yeah, this is a compilation of Bubsy games spread across multiple systems. What cracks me up is they have the games and they even have like advertisement scans, box scans, but they've like photoshopped out the systems. So like for like the Game Boy, it'd just be like portable Bubsy, and like for the Super Nintendo, you recognize the box art, but you
Mhm.
don't see like Super Nintendo. The only box that keeps the logo is the Atari Jaguar version because Atari publishes this collection.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I just found a kick out of that. I don't recall seeing that in other collections that have old games, but there must be some kind of weird legal quirk that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, that is weird, huh?
Yeah, I just got a kick out of that. I'm like, wait, are these knockoffs? But no, it's the games. They just, you know, don't have the trademark name or whatever.
Right.
Um,
Huh.
but I'm excited to get into this, especially, let's be honest, these games are not critically acclaimed, and some of them, like the Jaguar game or Bubsy 3D on the PlayStation, are kind of generally considered bad games. Knowing my taste, I can get a lot of entertainment out of games that people think are bad, especially platformers. So I think I'm going to enjoy this in a way that a lot of fans may not. But if you're buying this collection, well, you're probably a Bubsy fan, and I think you're going to have fun comparing the different versions. They have like Genesis and Super Nintendo. I get a real kick out of that, reliving the console wars and seeing, you
Is
know.
it the same game where you can play the same game on
Mhm.
either console version, or they're completely different games for the different systems?
No, no, same. That's a good question because sometimes they were totally unique experiences, but in this case, I'm pretty sure they're like 99% the same game, just with
Excellent.
certain edges, like a user interface might be cleaner on one, or there might be like an extra bonus game or something on the other. Little things like that. I know I'll get a kick out of that. Comparing that, it's got a museum, it's got a soundtrack. Nothing seems to be locked either, which I appreciate because some of these games you have to unlock access, and
That's true.
I want to be able to jump around and just kick back. I think there's updates too, which frankly they'll need with some of these games. Like I think Bubsy 3D has been polished to an extent, so
Cool.
I'm excited to play simpler games too, because
Yeah.
playing Wild Hearts, that's there's a lot to it. I feel
I
like,
go through the same thing.
yeah,
Mm,
like
mhm.
I'm playing that game and I'm like, I feel like we're missing things here. Like, how do I switch weapons? Like, there's some like, there's so many menus.
Mm,
It can
yeah.
really intimidate you. But Bubsy's just a basic platformer. Back when mascot platformers were all the rage in the early '90s, mid '90s.
Yeah.
So,
So and
yeah,
it's only $20. That's out this week. So you are reviewing this one?
I am.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think 20 is fair for all
Mm,
the games you get. I know some people may scoff at it because they're old games, but you are
yeah.
getting several games. They're not just. It's not like you're getting 7 versions of just one game.
Yeah.
You are getting multiple versions of the same game, but there's different games. There's the original, there's the sequel, there's the portable, there's the Jaguar version, there's the PlayStation version. I mean, there's 5 right there, and I'm sure there's even more. So
Mm, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty good. Awesome. I don't think I ever played Bubsy originally. I remember it being talked about in gaming magazines for the Super Nintendo, but I never actually played
I do not think it's going to live up to its title. I don't think it's going to be perfect,
it.
but unless something's really really knackered, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this one.
So they could have called it the Playable Collection.
I'd respect them for the truth in advertisement. I'm curious to see how they polished it up. Bubsy does sort of have a unique inertia
Yeah,
to
is
him,
he
and
fast like Sonic or no? Is that how he works?
that's I think they were kind of aiming for that Sonic mold,
Mhm.
but the thing is, and I know we're rushed for time, it only works so well in certain games. It really doesn't work well.
Mhm.
It's one of those, you got to get a feel for, but how much are you willing to practice if the game's not clicking with you? You know what I mean? It's like if
Yeah.
it goes against the grain, it's like, oh, you just got to get this muscle memory down, get this timing down. But if you're not having fun, are you going to want to do that?
Mm.
I think Bubsy is a bit of an acquired taste compared to a lot of other platformers, but at the same time, there's something to be said because it endured. It got other games. I mean, heck, I think there was a version on the Switch that was like a runner. I
Oh,
don't think we actually covered it, but do you
you're
remember
saying
that?
there's more Bubsy games than there are Chibi Robo games?
I know, what a world, huh?
That's crazy.
What a world. What was that game? Oh, Bubsy Paws on Fire. It was like a
Oh,
runner
that does sound familiar.
from back in 2019.
Right. On the
Um,
Switch, is it?
yeah,
Huh.
it kind of looks like a Bit Trip Runner type game.
Oh, it's not the
So
perfect
I never
collection then if
played
it's
that
not
one.
included.
Yeah, I guess it's too new.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you could get Bubsy Paws on Fire for $25, or you can get this collection for 20. So
Mm, yeah. Cool. Thanks, Trev.
and yeah,
Hopefully.
between Bubsy and Rayman, you can kind of relive the best of the Atari Jaguar.
Yeah. Yes. Is there one of those in your basement, Kirk?
No, no, no. Wait, what did I have? What was the handheld Atari thing?
The
Lynx?
Lynx,
I had a Lynx.
Oh.
nice. The
So they're
Lynx was
all
awesome.
are they all named after
Briefly,
cats? Jaguar, lynx.
I think they did do that.
Hmm.
Yes.
I think even the Jaguar's code name was Panther. So
Okay. Why'd they change it then? That's weird. Okay. Cool.
a
Well,
story
thanks.
for another day.
Yes, yes. Awesome. Listeners, let us know if you have any Bubsy experience. Favorite, I guess. If this is a perfect collection for you, let us know. Thank you, Trevor. Look forward to hearing your thoughts on that one when you get around to playing and reviewing it. But yeah, we've gone over time, but we've had a lot to talk about. So we hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you both so much for joining me this week. Such a big week. Like I said right at the start, big week of gaming, lots to do, lots to play. We're not we are sport for content, that's for sure, which is a good position to be in. So please do let us know what you're playing this week. Any final thoughts before we do close things off?
Spits in the game. I'm going with this until I see it on a box cover.
Yes.
Yeah, listeners, let's get that trending on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you both very much. Thank you, listeners. If you'd like to follow us on social media, please head on over to Blue Sky and you can catch us over there. You can also get yourself a copy of the Pure Nintendo magazine. We're printing the latest issue, so it should be on its way very soon via Kirk. Thank you, Kirk, to everyone who has
Yes, thank you.
subscribed. And so we'll get cracking on the next issue. And so if you'd like to join the subscription list, please head on over to patreon.com/Pure Nintendo and you'll be ready for the next one. But until next week, thank you and game on, everybody. Bye.
See ya.